Hey everyone, it's David here. I want to welcome you to this video. So just 2 days ago, I did a video where I opened up a contract and it was about a $23,000 contract. It was a state fund deal. So I was getting back $2,300 roughly. Within a day of doing that video and the same day or within like 12 hours difference, I received another FedEx envelope in my, a ding that I had another FedEx envelope. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm waiting for 2 more contracts back this week. That means out of the low-hanging fruit, which is state fund deals, I have probably somewhere between 6,000 to 8,000 bringing in this week. Do me a favor though, before I talk a little bit more about this in detail, if you've not subscribed to my channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Subscribe, click the notification link. I do live events, I give away stuff. I'd love for you to be one of my lucky winners. So I've not opened this yet, so let's crack this open. Throw that away, and let's see what I got here. Okay, very thick, very thick. Okay, very good. Contracts written out right. It's a $26,000 deal, so this would be $2,600 of commission. Person is deceased, and it looks like I am working with her son, which I know a little bit about. Everything is signed perfectly and right in the first page. Very nicely done. I even have his social security number and a signature from him. This is what's called the Standard Investigators Agreement, which I show you how to fill out on a previous video. Okay, so I go into my next one. This is just an extra page of excessive deals on the Standard Investigators Agreement. Nothing's here. Here is the claim for abandoned property. And again, it is notarized. So it's got my information right here on the very top, and it is absolutely notarized on the very, well, so what the notary did, I wanna, you know me, I'm very cautious about privacy, but on the claim for abandoned property, which is what allows you to go ahead and claim the property, the notary did a page to confirm their identity. They put this up on top and they put their seal and signature down on the bottom. So it is a notarized form, which I do need for the state. Okay, on top of here, what I do have is I do have a authentic death certificate, which I absolutely need. I have a copy of his driver's license and social security card, which is very nice. He's a California resident. Again, I'm super big on privacy, so I will show just that much. And then, okay, he has sent me a power of attorney, which will do nothing in this case. Let me tell you why. This is going to be a gold nugget here, and this will be a good power of attorney. Okay, I've got some will information here too, so that is definitely good. Guys, a power of attorney is, and keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer here, so what I'm going to tell you is not legal advice. If you really want legal advice, I'm not your guy. I will tell you what has worked for me several times and what I've gotten people paid and what has done. If someone's deceased and they said, oh, I had power of attorney over that person, power of attorney is for when someone's living. Like, for example, my grandmother, and you've heard this story probably if you listen to my video, she passed away February of this year of 2022. She was 95 years old. My mom had her power of attorney over her assets. My mom had power to sell the house, pay for her board, room and care, do whatever she had to do. My mom had full authority over that. My uncle, my mom's brother, had what's called medical power of attorney, where he could make the medical decisions when she was there. So if you have a certain type of power of attorney over someone, it doesn't, when they're deceased, they're gonna, what did this person have in writing for their will? What did they have for probate or a trust? A trust is so much better to be in than a will, because it's so much more easier to get in and claim the assets. And I've done these numerous times, as you've seen on the videos. It is so much easier to go after a trust than a will. But if there's a will, go after that too. Just submit the paperwork. They're going to look at everything. They're going to want to see various documents. The state may even email you and ask you for additional documentation. So for me, if you don't know me, I work a lot of tax overages. That was my first bread and butter. And then I got in state funds when I noticed that a lot of mortgage overages, after some parameter of time, they were being escheated to the state, and people didn't even know they had this money that existed. And I love getting people paid. I love helping people out here. And I'm getting helped out in the process. I mean, it's a very rewarding business to be in. As you're going as you're going through and calling people and letting people know. And one of the biggest things I'll tell people is I'm like on my Live Monday call last week, I had a guy on, he said, well, what do you get out of it? And I said, I'll never ask you for any money. I don't ask people for money. I just ask them for their permission. I ask them for their signatures, and I go ahead and move forward. So my business, when it's at its peak within state funds, I'm doing probably about 3 to 5 deals a week. I have a very good VA, and then I have a family friend. She's very good. What she does is she makes sure all the contracts get signed, everything's ready to go, and everything makes its way back to me. I approve it, and I send it off to the state. And I probably put anywhere from 30 to 90 minutes a week in my business, and I'm probably doing anywhere on a bad week. Well, bad week I'd have 0, but I'll do 2,500 on a good week. I'll have 7,500 to 10,000 on a good week, and it probably averages between there with state funds, somewhere between 5,000 to 7,000 a week. That's coming in, and you've seen my checks, and I try not to come up in like, if I'm showing you a check, I don't want it to be like, hey, here I got a check, check it out. You know, there's a reason why I'm showing you guys checks. One of them is authenticity in the business, because I want to show you that I'm the real deal. Because it amazes me, I've had people go through my course, and 3 weeks later they have YouTube videos on how to do state funds, how to do this, and they've never done a state fund deal, or they've never done a tax overage deal. If you haven't seen any of my checks, go back, and I'll put some up. I've got some coming in. I'll put some up in I'm just doing credibility here. Go back and look at some of my past videos, and I show you the checks, and then I started showing you the contracts. The reason why I'm showing you this is 2 things. I think power of attorney is good. I'm glad we actually hit that, and I want to let you know it is very doable to be doing 2 or 3 of these contracts within a week minimum. I have people in the course doing more. I have people doing this full time. They've got their whole system set up where they're killing it, and they're doing 3-4 times the amount I'm doing, which is awesome. I also run a very large company, and I have a lot of responsibilities. So state funds and mortgage overages, actually I do tax overages, are very important. I do some mortgage overages too. But yeah, my first love is surplus fund and the company, and making sure the company's in a healthy state. And this literally has become a side hustle for me, and it's a very doable side hustle. It's a side hustle that pays very well, and it's very achievable. It does take a little while to get started. I have talked about that. So if you're looking into getting started in the business, don't expect to just get out there and get a contract back next week with $2,600. Start looking at your current situation. Where do you want to be? Write that goal down, and where are you at right now? Now, if you call everyone and you tell them, hey, I'm getting into business for myself, I'm working for myself, are you trying to get the affirmation from other people? And if you are, I invite you to really look at that and ask yourself, why are you trying to get affirmation from other people? Because, and I've said this time and time again, and I don't mean to be repetitive, but when I went into working for myself, my life changed dramatically. People that I related to no longer related to me. Work, like you walk up in the break room and you sit next to people and they know you're working a business. Everyone gets really quiet. You're asking them how their day is going, how what's going on, and people just, they don't relate to you like they used to. Even leaving, you know, even the athletic director at my previous job, who I had a very good working relationship with, he's like, yeah, you'll never leave because of the benefits. And I'll be honest, I do miss the benefits. I love being, I mean, when you walk in a doctor's office and you're a teacher, it's like you're flying first class. And it's just, which it's funny because I've gone from coach to first, I mean, I fly first class. I'm not trying to get off on a tangent now, but you have your other perks when you work for yourself, and you've got your own company, and you can do what you need to do. But let's go back to getting started. Start off small, get some people that you know paid, ask them to do the paperwork. Like I went on the other day, and my sister, who I had gotten her previous fund cleaned up, had a real small claim. It was $130, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to her. I said, hey, you need to get this collected. She's like, yeah, I forgot all about this. And then it was my uncle's wife had some funds and she didn't know she had as well. And the same one I just mentioned with the power of attorney over my grandmother's medical, she went ahead and she, I think she's claiming that. I need to follow up with her on that. It's under 100. She's got 4 claims. I think like 100 to 150 bucks is what she had, real small. Figure those claims out and work them and get somebody paid. Any business that you want to do takes a while. I've seen people more than once start a very successful business, and they always start at the ground level. In fact, if you look at Surplus Fund, the company, Spencer and I started this company on my kitchen table. We met several times a week. We put probably 1.5 to 2 years before we saw any money in the business. And it hurt me a little financially because I would do house flips, and I would use money from those flips to get other houses, to flood my Roth IRAs, to do different avenues that I did with my house flips. And I was no longer doing that. And it was hard. But the reward and the long-term reward of doing this and doing it successfully is huge. You get a few people paid, you get some small amounts, you work $1,000 deals, you get $100. It's more or less you doing job training 101. Then work a couple more, work one or two more of those. Then decide you're going to pay yourself a minimum of $1,000 and go to the $10,000 market because you could get 10%. And then work that for a while, and then continue getting yourself paid. And then, like, if you're like me, I'm okay. Like the other day, I got a deal for, it was $1,500 on a payout, I think, right around there. And for me, that's good. It's $1,500 I didn't have before. Meanwhile, I'm getting a $2,600 check in the mail. I'm getting another $2,500 check. I have another $1,000 check in the way. So the checks I'm getting, $1,500 is like an added bonus. And for me, that's good money. In fact, if you did one of those a week, $1,500 a week, one $15,000 deal a week, you would be making, and I've said this several times, $6,000 a month, roughly $72,000 a year. That is most in what most self-employed people make, or and your overhead. You've got your lights, you've got your electricity, you've got your phone bill, and bam, that's it. You're getting the list. You're getting your name registered, or maybe you do a corporation, maybe you don't. I personally like a corporation, but when I first did the business, I did it in my personal name, and then I thought, why am I not just doing this in the corporation I flip properties in? So I switched over, and it's been very lucrative. Right now, I am thinking about switching my corporation to a different state, just opening up a new one there and keeping it going. I have to check legally to see how I could do that. But it's nice when you have like a whole new set of issues that are going on. But again, getting started, a lot of people say, okay, I'm gonna make $1 million a month. Well, I hope you do. It's a lot more than I'm making. I'm gonna do A, B, C, D. I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. And they never get it started. They never get it going. What you need to do is you need to take a deep breath. You need to see where you're at. You need to focus on where you're at. And as you take that deep breath, what are you doing now? What can you do now? What do you need to do? And how are you going to get involved in it? And you probably need to do what I said. Work a small deal, learn the business. You mess it up, I'd rather see you lose $100 than 1,000. I'd rather see you lose $1,000 than 10,000. And I have had people lose $10,000 because of clerical errors or paperwork errors, or something they didn't do correctly. This paperwork right here is so beautiful. It will go to the state today. All I have to do is I have to sign it now because I haven't done that. And I've started off the day. So it is 2 days after. It is, I don't even know the date. It is Wednesday, September 14th, 2022 that I'm actually filming this. And yeah, I got a notice the day I picked up my last one, and I showed you guys, I got a notice on the other one. And guys, I'm not saying don't look at other people's YouTube videos or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but make sure when you follow people's advice, make sure that they're doing the business, make sure that they've done the business. We've got people that have done 6 figures a year and are doing it, and it's been incredible. Some of those are on my YouTube videos. I have a whole section of people in the course now that have taken their business and they've gone to 6 figures, and it's been one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I mean, it's really cool to know that I've helped create something that people can do, and I'm saying that because this is good content. Take it down, make it golden, and don't just go to one state. You know me, I work California. I have done a deal in Nevada. I've done a deal in Texas or two. You know, I've done a couple out of state, just trying to help other people through the leads. But you've got to find a market, and you've got to stick to it. I see a lot of people, they want to do an Amazon store, they want to do surplus fund, and they want to do something else. Well, pick one, go with it, and then pick another, go with it, and then pick another and go with it. And guys, I'm going to have an interruption here, and I'm going to proudly take this interruption. He didn't know I was filming. He asked me to come in the office today, and I said, yeah, come here, boo-boo. Come here. What's that right there? What's that right there? Camera, can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Do you know what this is, boo-boo? Right here? Do you know what that is?
Copy?
That's a copy of well, it's a contract that I got from someone who is, I'm going to help them with surplus fund, my company. I'm going to help them get paid and do that. Can you tell everyone how old you turned last week?
5.
5. Tell everyone what you did with Dad yesterday. Outside, or 2 days ago in the backyard. What did we do in the backyard?
Trimmed trees.
Well, what did we do with those trimmed trees?
We put them on fire.
So we actually set a fire in the backyard, and we talked a little bit about the safety of fire. And what did I tell everyone to do if you were ever curious about fire? What do you do?
Stop and roll.
Well, that's if you catch on fire. But what would you do if you're ever curious about how fire works? Who do you ask? Who do you go to and ask? Come on, you told me this.
The fire apartment.
I like that, but you asked me if you ever get curious about fire, right, around the house. You come and ask me, or you ask Mom. You just turned, how old did you just turn?
5.
And what are you doing this afternoon? With Dad in the shed.
Fixing the tire.
On the lawnmower, yeah, we're gonna actually repair our first lawnmower tire, which is gonna be a lot of fun. We have a 0-turn lawnmower, and we're actually gonna fix that. All right, can you say bye to everyone? Dad's gonna finish this video. Can you say bye to everybody?
Bye.
So, guys, one thing that's huge in me in this business, and something that just brings me to ultimate satisfaction, is fatherhood. And you've heard me say a lot of videos, and I feel like this is taking a 90-degree turn, maybe even a 180-degree turn. But fatherhood for me is the most important thing. Oh, Isaiah, come here one more time, boo-boo. I want to ask you one more question on the camera. Okay, one more question. Dad's sorry he missed this. What did you get last night at jiu-jitsu?
Stripe.
Got his first stripe on the belt. He's been in jiu-jitsu for about 2 months now, and he got his first stripe. So I say all that, and I do all that to just talk to you. If you're in business and you're a mother, father, give your kids the love and attention that they need. And this is almost a whole new video, and I may split this off into 2 different videos. I don't know yet, but like, there's times where my kids love me like no other, and there's times where they're so mad at me. I'm like, I hope they talk to me in the morning, because I'm very loving with them. I'm very friendly. I like taking them on business trips. And it's weird, like when I was a kid, I didn't have a dad. So for me, fatherhood for my kids is the most important thing. I want to be a dad to them, and I want to teach them the skills that they need that I didn't have. With that being said, I've got to hold them accountable. You've got to take things away. You've got to be the parent. You've got to be the person in charge, which is one of the reasons why our society is in such a dire need. I saw it time and time again as an educator, where kids came in and they had no authority, they had no direction, they were lost, they had flunked their way up into the 9th to 12th grade, somewhere in between there, and they literally were angry. They were angry at the world, and why not? They've never accomplished anything in their life. And now they're trying to make their way through society, and they're super angry. We're expecting them to have a certain level, and they don't, and it's really sad that this has creeped up into our schools. And it's the reason why I'm proudly no longer an educator. And I'm sorry, but that's one of, and I don't mean to knock our educational system. I think there's a lot of good schools and a lot of good teachers out there, and God bless you all. But I'm just talking about where I was and what I saw, especially at the end, from when I first started till when I ended. It was just like, wow, like I thought I would end it. Even as I started Surplus Fund, the company, I was still teaching, I was still doing stuff. And it's just to the point where, like, you know what? I can step out. I want to create the time freedom, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. But I challenge you, if you are a parent, be that parent to your kids. So I've said this time and time again, first thing in the morning is my devotion. Then I read 10 pages a day. Then, like this morning, I did yard work. Sometimes I go work out. I didn't this morning. I've been a little under the weather. Unfortunately, I did miss a stripe last night. I didn't know he was getting that. I was really sick. I had a sinus headache. I just told my wife, I said, I'm going to just go home and lay down. If I had known he was going to get that, I would have sat through my misery and had watched him get that, because he's such a cool little guy. Him and Noah both got one, my oldest, and love having them. I love having them around. I love being the dad. It's one of the most rewarding hats that life offers, and we just don't have this a lot in our society. And when he gets older, he'll have a choice if he wants to go to school or if he wants to work for himself. He'll know everything about me from business that he can know if he wants to start his own business, if he wants to work it. He does get paid for doing things for me, and he is on payroll, and that's huge. But yeah, just a couple pointers. But I just think, like, outside of teaching people Surplus Fund, being 18 years in the classroom teaching what was called math at the time, I wish I could have taught how to be a parent. Like, if I looked at all the A+ plus and all the happy students I had versus the unhappy students, it would be love at home, discipline, accountability, chores. Like even my 5-year-old, and it's amazing, and 6-year-old, and then he's 5. They have chores, and watching them now being able to, before they could never pick up leaves and put them in a trash can. Now they do that by themselves. By the way, I'm weird. I do my own yard work. I love it. I'm on a ranch. I love being on the ranch, and I love getting out there every day. I chainsaw. I change my own oil. I do my own projects around the house. I do sometimes hire people out because it does get a lot, and I do run a company, but I spend time out there every single day in the property and just love doing it. But that, if you got anything out of this video, our youth are our tomorrow. We need to focus more on them, and it's more than just like my former district used to say, hearing the voice of every kid. Well, hearing the voice of every kid, if you looked at how unhappy 2/3 of them were and how miserable they were, and passing them, and just seeing what I saw with the way how some non-tenured teachers were so afraid of them and stuff, and it's just like, wow. And a couple walking out in the job in the middle of the year, and just the lack of accountability, it's really just sad. And it's like, I just think if every parent, regardless of your situation, just churned and focused on your kid, and there's times where I have to make a tough decision, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna hate me right now, and it's not easy. You take something away, you come up with a consequence, you do something, and then I go and I reflect on it. But what I notice is when that situation comes again, it doesn't happen. And if it happens a few days later, that consequence is there again, and it happens less and less, and your authority is respected, and you do know more than your kids know. And I hear my kid's voice. They make decisions all the time. Isaiah loves going in with me and helping me in the shed. He loves, we've got this big, huge, oversized shed where I have all my work in, or working on the car, changing the oil, whatever it is. He's right there. He's wanting to know what I do, how I do it. I always have him like tighten the bolts and do something that helps me. And he's like, he thinks it's so cool. Hey everyone, I've rambled on so much about this video. I've talked about a contract I received, how much going back, getting started in your first business, all the way to being a good parent. I hope this video was not too long for you. I had no idea I knew he was gonna come in. I didn't think he'd come in this early. Usually he's a little bit later. So do me a favor, everyone. If this video was useful, give me a like. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I'll see you on the next video. And tell me what you thought of this, like what part was helpful, what part you'd like me to elaborate on, and anything that you want me to talk about in the future. Because I'm always going back and looking at my comments, and I love the fact that people comment. And I love interacting and learning from you guys, just like you guys learn from me. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks again.